The Dallas Cowboys are back in the headlines. And it's not just about training camp drills or practice highlights, it's about real questions facing this franchise as they gear up for what many consider to be one of the most pivotal seasons in recent memory. With the heat building in Texas, so too are the rumors surrounding key players like Donovan Wilson, the timing of Micah Parsons' contract extension, and even the evolving role of fullback Hunter Luepke. Let's dive deep into what's going on behind the scenes at the Star in Frisco, and decode what the latest wave of Cowboys speculation really means for this team's direction. Starting off with perhaps the most eyebrow-raising rumor, could the Dallas Cowboys really be preparing to move on from safety Donovan Wilson? That idea, which would have seemed ludicrous just a year ago, has suddenly become a real conversation topic among NFL insiders and fans alike. Wilson, a physical enforcer in the secondary who embodies the tenacity Dan Quinn brought to the defense, has found himself in a peculiar spot. After signing a 3-year, $21 million deal in 2023, Wilson was expected to be a centerpiece of the safety unit. But as the 2025 offseason unfolded, his role and long-term security have grown cloudier. It's not a knock on his talent, everyone knows what Wilson brings on Sundays, but this is starting to look more like a numbers game. The Cowboys have loaded up at the safety position. Malik Hooker, Jaron Kearse, and even young up-and-comers like Wanya Thomas and Marquise Bell have started making waves. And in a cap-tight situation where every dollar counts, particularly with extensions looming for stars like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, the front office might be thinking about reallocating resources. But here's the twist: Wilson's cap hit for 2025 isn't insurmountable. Cutting him pre-June 1 would free up around $4 million but come with a dead cap hit of $2.1 million. Post-June 1, the numbers shift, and it becomes more palatable from a business standpoint. However, it would send a strong message about how the Cowboys are prioritizing youth and financial flexibility over veteran continuity. It's also worth noting that Wilson battled injuries last season, which may have decreased his perceived value within the organization. Teams never publicly base decisions on health alone, but when you're talking about a physically imposing safety with a history of playing through pain, you can't help but wonder if the wear and tear is starting to impact how the front office views his long-term viability. And what about Micah Parsons? That's the million-dollar, or more accurately, the multi-hundred-million-dollar question facing Dallas. It's no secret that Parsons is the heart of the Cowboys' defense, and arguably the most impactful defender in the NFL today. But with each passing week, fans grow more anxious about why his contract hasn't been extended yet. Parsons is eligible for a deal, and the market has already shifted dramatically with players like Nick Bosa and T.J. Watt resetting expectations for pass rushers. Jerry Jones has made no secret that Parsons is part of this team's core, but waiting comes at a cost. Every month that passes allows other edge rushers to ink bigger deals, further driving up the price tag for keeping number 11 in a Cowboys jersey long term. The situation is delicate. On one hand, the Cowboys could be strategically waiting to strike the right balance between cap management and timing. With CeeDee Lamb also due for a major payday and Dak Prescott's future still up in the air, there's only so much flexibility. But then again, delaying a Parsons deal could backfire spectacularly. If he goes out in 2025 and posts another double-digit sack season, earns another All-Pro nod, or wins Defensive Player of the Year, his asking price will go from astronomical to galactic. It's the kind of gamble that can define a general manager's legacy. Stephen Jones has talked extensively about financial discipline and building through the draft, but keeping your homegrown generational talent should always be priority number one. Fans aren't just calling for Parsons to be paid, they're demanding it. His leadership, presence, and impact go beyond the stat sheet. He's the culture setter in Dallas, and without him locked in, there's a sense of nervous energy growing among the faithful. Then there's Hunter Luepke, one of the more intriguing pieces on this Cowboys roster. He's not flashy. He's not showing up in fantasy football drafts. But make no mistake, his role is quietly evolving into something that could be far more significant than most realize. Last season, Luepke made the roster as an undrafted free agent and showed flashes as a do-it-all fullback. In an era where the position has largely disappeared, the Cowboys have taken a more old-school approach by embracing his versatility. What makes Luepke so valuable is that he brings multiple dimensions to the offense. He can line up as a traditional fullback, serve as a lead blocker, take short yardage carries, and even catch out of the backfield. Kellen Moore's playbook may be gone, but under Mike McCarthy and new offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, there's a sense that Luepke's presence could expand, especially in red zone and short yardage packages where the Cowboys struggled last season. Don't be surprised if you start seeing Luepke used in similar ways to how the 49ers deploy Kyle Juszczyk. That's not to say Luepke is on that elite level just yet, but he has the tools and the football IQ to develop into a Swiss Army knife. In training camp, he's been spotted working not just with the running backs but also sitting in on tight end meetings and even getting slot reps. That kind of positional flexibility is gold for a coaching staff looking to throw wrinkles into their offense. With the Cowboys' backfield still trying to solidify itself post-Tony Pollard, Luepke could become a surprise weapon in 2025, not as a bell cow, but as the kind of guy who picks up key blocks, converts third and ones, and sneaks out for critical receptions. Let's also not overlook the broader roster dynamics that make these rumors even more compelling. The Cowboys are clearly at a crossroads. They've got talent across the board, from veterans like Zach Martin and DeMarcus Lawrence to emerging stars like Darren Bland. But the pressure is mounting. It's no longer about being a playoff contender, it's about being a legitimate Super Bowl threat. That means tough decisions, calculated risks, and yes, some unpopular roster cuts might be on the horizon. If Donovan Wilson is viewed as expendable, that's a statement about the team's faith in its younger safeties and their willingness to make bold moves to protect the cap. If Micah Parsons isn't signed soon, it could reflect either a savvy long-game negotiation strategy or a dangerous dance with franchise unrest. And if Hunter Luepke takes on an enhanced role, it signals a philosophical shift in how this team wants to control tempo and matchups on offense. Of course, all of this plays out against the ever-intense backdrop of Cowboys fandom. Every rumor gets amplified. Every quote is dissected. And every decision is judged in real time by millions of loyal fans and skeptical analysts. That's life in Dallas. The Cowboys don't operate in a vacuum. Jerry Jones and his staff know that every move or lack thereof sends ripples across the league. That's why these rumors, while speculative, matter. They paint a picture of how this team is being shaped not just for this season but for the next 3 to 5 years. And here's another wrinkle that could come into play: trades. The Cowboys have been relatively quiet on the trade front in recent months, but that doesn't mean the front office isn't exploring possibilities. If they do part ways with someone like Donovan Wilson, they may look to package him in a trade for draft capital or depth at another position. Safety is a premium spot, and a veteran with Wilson's resume could garner interest from teams needing immediate help in the secondary. That could also be a face-saving way to move on from him without outright cutting a respected locker room leader. Meanwhile, locking in Parsons would solidify the defensive identity and potentially make Dallas more aggressive on the market, knowing they've locked down their centerpiece for years to come. It all comes back to vision. The Cowboys have long been accused of being reactive rather than proactive, but the decisions they're making now or delaying will show whether that narrative is finally changing. Are they willing to invest early and aggressively in elite talent like Parsons? Will they lean on youth and scheme over expensive veterans? And can they maximize the unique talents of under-the-radar players like Hunter Luepke to gain an edge over more predictable offenses? These aren't just off-season talking points. They're the chess moves that determine whether this team will break through its decades-long Super Bowl drought. Ultimately, the questions hanging over Donovan Wilson, Micah Parsons, and Hunter Luepke aren't just about those individuals, they're about the Cowboys' identity. Are they a team that rewards loyalty and veteran experience? Or are they shifting to a cold, analytics-driven model focused on cap efficiency and youth? Are they confident in locking in generational talent early or playing hardball until the price becomes unmanageable? And are they willing to embrace hybrid roles and creative personnel usage to get the most out of their offense? As Cowboys fans wait for training camp battles to heat up, these rumors offer a glimpse into the internal debates taking place at the highest levels of the organization. It's a high-wire act, balancing star power with financial reality, tradition with innovation, and loyalty with cold, hard business decisions. Whatever happens next, you can be sure of one thing: the Cowboys will once again be the center of the NFL universe, and every decision made now will echo through the halls of AT&T Stadium long after the season is over. Thanks for watching, and if you want more in-depth Cowboys analysis and breaking NFL updates, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing.